For the better part of 3 decades, a single rule has dominated personal finance advice. We've been told that skipping our morning coffee is the reliable, mathematically proven path to financial freedom. But that advice is a mathematical illusion. The concept gained massive popularity in the early 2000s under the name the Latte Factor, popularized by author David Bach. The premise gave people a simple, relatable villain they could control. The idea was that your small daily indulgences are secretly stealing your financial future. Other financial personalities took the idea even further. Suze Orman went on national television and famously equated the simple act of buying a daily coffee to literally pouring $1 million down the drain. This chart shows the raw numbers that make the myth so believable. If you skip your daily latte and invest that $5 at a 7% annual return, over 40 years, compound interest grows your money to nearly $400,000. While that compound interest calculation is technically accurate, the narrative surrounding it is highly misleading. It takes your most valuable resources, your time, your energy, and your ambition, and misdirects them toward pennies when you should be focusing on dollars. Looking back at the chart, we see the first major variable the coffee math ignores, inflation. That future peak shrinks because $400,000 in 40 years holds only $130,000 in today's purchasing power. Then you have to account for taxes on your investment gains. And more importantly, you have to factor in life disruptions. The average person experiences several major financial emergencies a decade, like a medical bill or job loss, which routinely derail these fragile, hyper-strict savings plans. There is also a severe psychological cost, known as frugal fatigue. Frugal fatigue is the cognitive and emotional toll of constantly denying yourself small daily pleasures. Behavioral economists find that people who try to micromanage every tiny expense often exhaust their willpower and abandon their financial plans entirely. Over the last 30 years, housing costs have risen 400% faster than wages, and healthcare costs are bankrupting hundreds of thousands of people annually. In that economic reality, placing the blame for a lack of wealth on a $5 coffee is a form of financial gaslighting. It distracts us from the systemic problems we actually need to navigate. To build real wealth, we have to look at the core asymmetry of personal finance. Expenses have a hard physical limit. There is an absolute floor. You can only cut so much spending before you are eliminating basic human necessities, like shelter, heat, and nutrition. This pie chart illustrates where the money actually goes. Economic research shows that the big three expenses, housing, transportation, and food, account for up to 70% of the average American household's budget. Compared to these massive structural costs, your daily coffee is a microscopic sliver. Then there is lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is the behavioral tendency to increase your spending proportionally every time your income increases. When people get a raise, the money rarely goes to investments. It gets immediately swallowed by upgrading to a slightly nicer apartment or leasing a newer car. Combine that with the modern subscription economy. A daily coffee is a highly visible, conscious choice that brings you immediate joy. A forgotten streaming service or software subscription is an invisible, automatic financial drain that silently pulls hundreds of dollars from your account every year. If you negotiate your rent down by a few percentage points, or avoid buying a car that exceeds 10% of your income, the financial results will entirely dwarf a lifetime of aggressively skipping your morning lattes. While your expenses hit a rigid floor, your income operates on a completely different set of rules. Your earning potential has no theoretical ceiling. Over 10 years, skipping coffee saves $25,000, but a 10% salary raise yields $83,000. The math gets clearer with a side income. An average side hustle generating $800 monthly scales to $500,000, dwarfing the coffee approach. This is exactly how self-made millionaires operate. Studies show they deliberately maintain an average of 7 distinct income streams, ranging from their primary salary to dividend investments to rental income. True financial resilience is built by continually expanding the architecture of your income. It is not achieved by aggressively shrinking your expense column until your daily life is miserable. But if you earn more, won't you just end up spending more anyway? The behavioral solution to that problem is structural pre-commitment. Structural pre-commitment means setting up automatic systems that make the right financial choices for you in the present, restricting your ability to spend that money in the future. This flowchart breaks down the ideal system, known as the automation stack. First, you route a percentage of your paycheck directly into a 401k before you ever see it, instantly capturing the full employer match. Next, the stack route's automatic day one transfers into a Roth IRA and low-cost index funds. Only after the investments are funded does the remaining money drop into your checking account for daily living expenses. With your wealth building automated, you can adopt the joy-to-cost ratio. This framework suggests keeping the expenses that bring you high, genuine joy, like a morning ritual at a coffee shop, while ruthlessly cutting low-joy expenses, like unused app subscriptions and premium cable packages, because long-term financial success relies entirely on automated systems. By making the investments invisible and automatic, You free up your mental energy from the daily depletion of willpower. If you still doubt the math, try the billionaire test. Do you know of a single ultra-wealthy individual who built their empire strictly by cutting out $5 expenses? The answer is no. People often point to Warren Buffett, who famously eats modest fast food breakfasts and lives in the same house he bought in 1958. But his frugality is a downstream result of his philosophy on capital allocation. The source code of his wealth is aggressive investment returns and income generation at massive scale, not his breakfast order. The singular metric that actually predicts your long-term financial health is your savings rate. Your savings rate is simply the percentage of your gross income that you consistently save and invest. Combining a high income with a high savings rate is the ultimate formula for financial independence. Optimize the high leverage decisions, the home you buy, your career trajectory, and utilizing tax-advantaged accounts. These choices carry 1,000 times the financial impact of the Latte Factor. So buy the coffee and enjoy it without the guilt. Just make sure you are dedicating that same energy to ruthlessly expanding your income.